Hi, my name is Mr. Payton. Welcome to my book review. We're in the fifth and final chapter of my book, Fourth Grade. I call it fourth grade to kind of mimic the years that we go through in school. And so my fifth year of teaching was my fourth grade, and it was very impactful to me. I could kind of say that my fifth year was my year to kind of take some risks, even though I didn't know that's what I was doing, because I made quite a few mistakes this year. And if it wasn't for my connection with my parents and the goodwill that I built up with some of the teachers I was teaching with, I would have never got through it. So, to kind of bring you up to speed, this is my second school district that I'm in, and I'm in my second grade level that I taught. I previously taught third grade. I'm in my third year of teaching first grade. I am one of the ESL teachers, which now is called ELL, or language learners, meaning that more than half of my students were monolinguals or at least Spanish speakers. Maybe they could speak both languages. But with that brought just wonderful challenges and really rich conversations and diverse learning. Well, this particular year, um, I received a student kind of midway through my first semester who I term a non-lingual. And what I mean by that is she wasn't really fluent in Spanish from an academic standpoint. She could speak it, but she didn't know her letters, her sounds, and so it just means she hadn't been really educated. And so that really made me have to dig into my bag of tricks in terms of my strategies and skills that I had for teaching language arts. And so what I chose to do with this young person is to teach her alphabet in Spanish, which she already had a background in, so that I could transition her to the alphabet in English. And fortunately, again, one of those risks, it worked out. She was a beautiful young student and very strong-willed. I remember her favorite word was no. Every time I tried to get her to work in a center or in a learning environment, she was like, no, play. So, those are her favorite words, play. And as we developed through the year, obviously she came around, but she's been a wonderful addition to my academic career. Again, another student that I am still in contact with. I actually was in contact with her about a week ago. She's doing very well in Florida. And so, again, just the idea that being an educator doesn't stop in the classroom has been a big theme for me. And you'll notice that as you read this book that I have, fourth grade. And so, to continue on with what I wrote about in this chapter, I also had another young man who, and there's no other way to put it. So, as you can see plainly, I'm African American. Well, when Black History Month came up, I thought it would be great to have all of my students learn about a different person. They were going to read their little person's summary, which in first grade ended up being like a sentence or two, and we were going to record it and share with all our parents. Well, I didn't really go through all of the people I had chosen and really think it through. One of my students, who happened to be white or Caucasian, whichever term you're more comfortable with, he ended up with Malcolm X. And again, not thinking about it, he went on and, learned his part. He actually memorized it. He was so proud to say it. So proud, so much so that he took it home to read it to his mom and grandma, single mom and grandma. Oh boy, when I got to work the next day, there was a need for a conference, let's just say. And again, I won't spoil the ending for you because it is in the book, and it's a funny story. I will tell you it ended well, but it was very interesting what took place. And again, it was just one of those deals where I wasn't on a crusade or anything like that, but I legitimately believe that women's history, Black history, Hispanic history, Native American history is part of all of our history. And I just wanted to give my kids a rich experience. I later decided not to have Malcolm X in there because even though I see value in who he was, I understand how that could be controversial, especially because I was teaching such young students at the time. So, as you read my fifth and final chapter, I hope you enjoy hearing that story and see how everything worked out with those students. Again, I've had such wonderful experience with these students, and the parents were so forgiving and accommodating, but that was because I made it a point to reach out and communicate with my parents on a regular basis. It wasn't something like the first time I ever talked to them was when this issue came up. So Um, I've been very blessed to have written what I wrote and to have someone come into my life and tell me that it needs to be published. Um, since I wrote this book, I've written three more, and writing now has become a very big part of my life. So I hope you decide to ultimately take a look at my book. I have it in many different formats. But more than anything, I just hope you take something away from my passion for teaching and my desire to help young people. They have enriched my life, and I hope I've enriched theirs. This is the end of my book review for my book, Fourth Grade. I hope you've enjoyed it and hope to see you soon. Thank you.